self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am Calamity Red.
And we are Conversation Con Artists, back for another wonderful, amazing, fantastic, delectable episode.
That was a lot of adjectives.
Delectable don't even fit.
It does not.
That's for deliciousness. Anyway, I need y'all to go to the website, www.com. I don't even want to worry about the website no more.
I mean,
I just haven't been updating it at all.
So maybe we should just not.
I'm gonna drop the website situation because I just don't think I'm gonna update it very long.
Okay.
We're not doing really very much with it, and maybe we'll do something with it later. But right now, it seems to be more chorey. So
don't go to the website.
Don't go to the website. If you're hearing this, you're hearing it on whatever platform you at. Just come to Facebook and find Mr. On Point, Conversation Con Artist.
Calamity Red. I don't post anything on my page, so don't come to my page.
It's cool.
There's nothing on it.
If you start interacting with us, like we interact with people if they interact with us.
Pretty much, but we're not like
chronic posters.
No, not at all.
Come to Instagram and Twitter at Mr. MISTER_on point or at Convo Con Artists for the podcast Twitter.
And I can be found at red_calamity, also on Twitter and on Instagram. I actually post on Instagram probably more than anywhere else. So if you want to see the dogs that I'm always talking about. They also have their own Instagram. Did I tell you that? King and Remy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so they're at King and Remy. REMI, not like the liquor. It's an I on the end, not a Y. Not like Remy Martin.
Like Indian Remy, not Coon Remy.
We're still doing the listener letter portion of the show. So if you have a question you would like for us to answer, send it in to our Gmail account, which is conversationcarnartists with an S at gmail.com, or you can leave it on the Facebook page. But if you leave it on the Facebook page, well, no, you can send us a message. Don't leave it on the page. Everybody gonna see it. Send us an inbox, the Conversation Con Artist page, and we can answer it via that method as well. So I have a question this week that I think is right up your alley because you love going around and around in circles on things. I
like circles. I respect circles. They don't have any stops.
They don't. Is a fish in water considered wet?
I saw that whole damn video. I saw a video about that.
Where they were arguing about whether or not the fish is wet if it's surrounded by water. If it's surrounded by water, is it wet?
I mean, I understood the other dude's argument. So if a fish is in water, what makes something wet is still having remnants of water on it, right? So is a fish submerged in water wet? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
if it isn't, I think it has to be because we don't have verbiage or dialogue that represents something that is in water.
It's just in water. I mean, that's just this environment, the same way that we're just out in this air. This is our environment.
But what I'm saying is, if you're somebody who creates a differential between being out of water with water on you and wet versus being in water, there would have to be another word that meant being in water but not in water, like being in water and surrounded by it and it touching you.
But I mean, what's the word for us living up here? I mean, on land. There's not a word for that. We just are. This is where we live. The fish lives in the water. It ain't nothing. It's just in its.
Well, that's because when you jump in the water, there's no remnants of air left except inside of you. But when you come out of water, when you're in the air, there is remnants of water left on you.
Well, no, don't their gills take the water? I mean, the oxygen out of the water. Isn't that how they breathe underwater? There's air.
There's oxygen.
Well, oxygen.
H2O is different than just O. H2O is a combination of all that stuff. Like, fish can extract the oxygen from water. We can't do that.
No.
We
don't have gills. Yes, because we don't have gills. I don't know. But it's not like mermaids. Like, if we lived underwater, we wouldn't call ourselves wet. You just, this where you live. Like, you're not wet. You just there. In your fucking in whatever environment it is that you reside in.
Don't know underwater creature call anything. They just say blah 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 blah.
Well, mermaids apparently talk.
If they exist,
they talk.
The only people that have ever seen mermaids is high fishermen. That's it.
Where did the idea of mermaids originally come from? Like somebody somewhere.
What's a culture that always went into magical stuff? Because, mermaids supposed to be magical. If you saw one, they grant you a wish. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's not German. That wouldn't be German folklore. German folklore, they come out and stab you in the chest.
What is fun. That? Struden Peter? The stories that they told children. Have you ever heard of these? Mm-mm. Horrible. Like, they were so violent. Like, it was to teach a lesson, but not how like Aesop did it with the fables. It was like if you had dirty fingers, this lady would come and like cut your fingers off.
Stelenia.
What's
Ain't that his name?
Who?
Pickle Rick.
Oh my God.
Selenia.
Selenia.
Clearly they was Russian.
Yes.
And so if y'all hadn't seen this episode of Rick and Morty in the new season, it's an episode where Rick turns himself into a pickle and ends up in a Russian consulate. And it turns out to be a story about if you throw your sandwiches away, the pickle man will come and get you. And so they end up being scared of Pickle Rick because they thought he was coming to get him, and the name of him was Selenia. Now it turns out that is not true. There is no pickle myth.
No.
But,
But, like, Struden is like Struden Peter, fuck. I read about it I took a grad level literature course, and we were talking about literature from different countries, and their, like, children's stories were terrifying.
They were. I mean, we watered down German stories. Like, Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
She ate them kids in Germany. That was to keep kids from running away.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lesson that the kid, but they did it in like a terrifying way. I can't. Struden.
Toaster strudel?
It's not.
It's not toaster strudel.
It's not.
Oh.
Struden. This is so not right. Nothing even popped up. I fucked it up so bad. I don't know. I think I still have a copy of the book at home just because it was so interesting. But, like, I'm not even joking about the one where they cut your fingers off. If you, like, didn't keep your hands clean, they come chop your fingers off. And that was supposed to keep kids from, like, not washing their hands, but, like, in the most terrifying way possible. So, I don't think a fish in water is wet. I think it's just in its habitat. Like, it's in its natural environment because it's not wet. Like,
but wet is a property of water.
But properties sometimes are contingent upon whatever the atmosphere is. Like, not all properties mean that it has to have it all the time. Wet is a property of water when it's in air or when it's on dry, like in comparison to dry. But if everything is submerged underwater, there's no comparison. Like, there's everything under there is covered in that water. So it's not necessarily wet because it isn't, there's not a antithesis to that. Like, antithesis. I think this is how you say it. Anyway, it's wet when it's wet. If it gets on you, it's wet. If it gets on your dry pants, now your pants are wet. But when your clothes, I don't know. If it's completely submerged, I don't know that it's wet. It just is. I don't know.
I think it's wet. I don't know if I would go to call creatures that live in the water wet, because that's the natural habitat of them.
Yeah.
But if you drop your clothes and it's submerged in water, since that's not the natural habitat of your clothes, aren't your clothes wet?
Yeah, but the question was about a fish.
The question was about a fish.
Is the fish wet?
I call a fish wet.
It's only wet if you bring it out here.
But wet is the opposite of dry, right?
Yes.
So if you're not dry, you should be wet.
But can't you just be like, If everything is wet because it's all submerged underwater, there is no dry to compare. There, everything is wet. It's just you just underwater.
You just said everything is wet.
But if everything is wet, it's not wet. It's just that's what the environment is. Like, we don't walk around up here talking about everything is dry. This is what the comparison is. If you get water on you, then you want to dry off.
Well, because we up here we know that we dry, and down there if they were sentient creatures, they would know that they wet.
Would they know that they were wet?
Well, hell, we know we dry.
But they will never come up here. Like, we can go into the water, right? Fish, unless they drug out by which they don't want to be. A fish can live its entire life and not realize that there is. So even if they were sentient underneath the water, where that's just all they know, they're not gonna know that there is a dry.
No, we got animals that live in both.
We're talking about fish, though. We're talking only about fish.
Is a dolphin a fish?
No, it's a
Is a whale a fish?
porpoise.
Because the history of whales is that they were land walking creatures at some point. Or what about Muddy Mudskipper?
The fuck is that?
You remember Muddy Mudskipper from Ren and Stimpy?
I don't really remember it.
Well, mudskippers are a breed of fish that can get out of water and live on mud or stay on mud for some period of time.
They're still wet if they're in the mud, though, aren't they? Ain't mud wet.
But you're trying to challenge a fish being wet. You're calling that fish wet if it's on the mud.
The mud is also up here where there is dry stuff in comparison. In the water, it's just water. It's nothing but that. That's it. There is nothing dry. The sand, everything is submerged underwater. Everything.
I feel like
if the mud skipper get off the mud, he gonna probably have a problem.
If that's the logic, I feel like if there is a possibility for you to be wet or dry, then you have to be wet when you're in the water.
But what if there is not a possibility for you to be dry? Because again, there are fish that live in the water and they never come up here, ever.
But it's always a possibility, though.
Oh,
it's always a possibility that they get caught in a net.
But what if that never happens? And they just live in their natural habitat their whole lives until they get eaten by something else that's under the water.
I think they gotta be wet.
Why do they have to be wet?
Because being wet is the opposite of being dry. And being dry exists because being wet exists. So if you can't be dry, you can't be wet, it's only one or two ways to go. You can't eliminate the existence of wetness because the natural habitat of a creature in water.
It's not eliminating the existence of wetness. Nobody's saying wetness isn't a thing. But the question is about whether or not something that lives completely underwater all the time is wet. Wetness obviously is still a thing because, again, you're dry. If I go splash some water on you, now you're wet. So wet exists. Wet isn't existing isn't contingent upon a fish being wet because it's underwater. It's still wet.
I feel like a fish is wet underwater. I feel like there is room in this conversation to talk about how our atoms bond to other environments. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a question becomes, like, I've heard a question like, is anything ever really touching you? Like, are we sitting in these chairs, but are these chairs actually touching, you know what I'm saying, what it's next to? I feel like there's room in this dialogue for that, but I feel like they go too deep.
You're the king of going too deep in this shit.
Well, let's say that I don't feel, with the lack of knowledge I have, that I feel like going that deep. Because last few weeks I've been saying some shit that's been off.
Okay, so that answers that question. And then this is like a couple of different, like, we all have that one relative who. And so I'm going to ask a bunch of different ones of these and see if you have somebody in your family that fits into this, because this is saying everybody has at least one of these people in their family.
Let's see.
Okay, if they weren't your cousin, somebody that you find attractive that you would date, I guess, if they weren't your cousin, I don't have one of those.
Me either.
Because my cousins are fucking crazy. Like, and they're my cousins. I don't know. I've never looked at them in any other way.
I don't have anybody like that. I don't have a lot of lady cousins to look at. And I'm straight. So
we all have that one relative who has a lot of kids. That would be my brother. He is in charge of, let me say that, 9 children. So Some of them are his biological kids. Some of them are his stepchildren. But all in all, he is responsible for 9 children.
Yeah, my brother, older brother.
I was finna say, no, what? When did Jay get some kids?
He got like 2 sets of twins.
God damn.
Yeah.
See, if I had twins, that's it. We ain't having no more. That's it.
His sperm shaped like the number 8. They just ready to split.
We all have that relative who always has a new man or girlfriend.
Nope.
I have a cousin that every Thanksgiving, well, now because he been engaged to this current girl for about 6-7 years at this point. But like before her, every time because we have Thanksgiving at my aunt's house in Huntsville, and every year he was bringing somebody different, and we was like, who is this? You know you don't have to bring every bitch you fuck here, right? You know they don't have to come to Thanksgiving.
But maybe they weren't having sex.
Don't do that.
Don't do what?
You don't know my cousin. They were having sex. Like, and he even this one time, he rides motorcycle. He still rides motorcycles. You met him. It's a cousin of mine you met.
Oh.
He bring different, the one that stabbed one of his wives.
Oh, Lord.
Him. He has a different woman.
I feel like the next time somebody like that around and you need to give some kind of warning sign.
Why? You didn't need to know that at the time. I didn't need.
What? You always need to know that you were in risk of a crazy person being crazy.
He stabs women.
Well, you don't know when he gonna elevate to anybody. He stabbed women today. He stabbed everybody tomorrow.
But you were fine. He didn't stab you.
But I get the opportunity to be paranoid on my own terms when you tell me shit like that.
I didn't want you to be paranoid. That's why I didn't say nothing.
I wouldn't be paranoid. This is for other people. I have a relatively low anxiety for things like that. So it won't make a difference for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if a situation were to unfold, I'd like to know I need to leave because I don't want to be a witness. That's all I'm concerned with. I don't want to be a witness to bullshit. I feel like drama avoids me. I think drama be like, oh, that's Mr. On Point. Let's leave. He always sucked the fun out of these situations with his logic.
He never stabbed no family member. He's only stabbed people that he was romantically involved with, which would not include anybody that was moving that day. So you were fine. Everybody was fine. And I did tell you. It was just
later on.
You didn't need to know that day. But yes, you have met him. He has a different woman all the time. He's been engaged to this current one for he ain't gonna marry her. Like, we didn't tell, dude, you know you ain't gonna marry her. Why you still doing this? But he rides motorcycles, and this one time, he always goes to Florida when they have bike week or whatever. And he brought this straggly looking little white girl who looked like she was fresh out of rehab. And my aunt was so mad because she was like, if this heifer steal anything in my house, she was so in love with him too. She was like, oh, your cousin just, he treats me so well. She had, you probably don't know this, but any women listening, Walmart has those little body fantasy splashes that smell terrible and don't last for 5 minutes, that people, they're the cheapest possible perfume you could ever get. She had a little set of those that she was so proud of. She was like, he even bought me this. And I was thinking, God, okay. Good for you. He probably paid $6 for that whole set, but go ahead,
Crackheads are low maintenance.
They are. Maybe that's why he had her. I don't know. But then my family, they I fell asleep. We were all watching TV. She was in there. I fall asleep and wake the fuck up. I'm in there with her by myself. These heifers done left me. Then she decides to tell me her whole life story. And I was so fucking mad at them for leaving me in there with her. I don't give a shit about none of this. We ain't gonna see her next year. And we didn't. She did not last.
You did that to yourself. I
fell asleep. I couldn't help it. I was tired. I had itis. It was Thanksgiving. We had eaten. I was sleeping.
That don't change that it's your fault.
They could have woke me up. Shit, bumped me on the way out. Something. God, I was so upset at them for that.
That's irrational.
Whatever.
Shouldn't have been upset.
I was upset. Left me in there with that heifer. We all have that one relative that is nosy as hell. All my dad's sisters nosy as fuck and gossip.
Damn, I don't got nobody that's nosy like that.
Or
maybe I'm just so disconnected from my family, I don't really know.
They just some little gossiping hens.
Cause I don't have no like ride or die family. Like I ain't got no cousin I can call that's gonna be down to go to jail.
I don't wear
my cousin's gonna be like, I hope that turns out well for you. You know, like we ain't that kind of close.
I mean, my cousin that stabbed that's who. I mean, my mom even, she's like, because he lives up here, so she's like, well, you know, if you need, maybe I need to call him to come and handle the Jamaican.
No, you don't.
Why?
I'm gonna tell the story. All right. So my brother and I, we were the same size for some time. Like we were just two. They used to call us the Eminem twins. We were just chubby.
Oh,
the same size, the same height.
Why Eminem?
Because from the Nutty Professor, the Clumps, the two fat boys that was in that, they were called the Eminem twins.
Okay.
So we were just two chubby dudes, right? And because of that, my mama was always like, go with your brother. And I'd be like, Mama, can I go here? And she'd be like, yeah, but you got to take your brother with you. And me and my friends treated my brother like shit because we didn't want him with us.
Yeah.
You know? So he, at some point, went and found his own friends. And I was like, good. He got people to go with.
Yeah.
It turned out to be two crazy goons. They used to go around the community throwing rocks in folks' windows and mooning folks and doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Wow.
Now, my older brother, who, let me tell you some things about him, who was known for riding around with a 40 ounce and a pistol in his car at the same time, who, when I turned 16, he came up to my door, rung the doorbell. I answered it. He said, you still a virgin? We finna go get you laid. Wow. I declined and sent him on his way. But he's a wild card brother. Wow. You know,
that's
plenty of interactions with police. You
40 ounce and a pistol, I could see that.
Yeah, and he came to the house and he whooped my brother's ass for disrespecting my mama and a bunch of different stuff. It was hard to watch, but also very refreshing to watch. You know, and he apologized and then he backed away from all of that stuff and then he got sensible again. But the reason that anytime something happened with those goons that my brother started hanging out with, he'll be like, we need to call TT. And I said, no, TT is going to hurt somebody and go to jail. And it's going to be because you and me called him. You know, so
I shouldn't call my cousin because he's going to go to jail.
Unless you want a double homicide out here. Because that Jamaican ain't going down easy. Tell you right now, he got a machete in the back belt.
Y'all have never seen this man with a machete, but y'all are convinced that he has a machete. Cause he Jamaican. Do Jamaicans just carry machetes around like that? Is that a cultural thing?
Look, man, like if you were taking a test and it was a standardized test, and it was saying that American is to flag as Jamaican is to blank, and machete was in the options, you need to choose machete. That's how they cut stuff. That's how they cut their fruit. They cut their mangoes. I know it looked like overkill because it's real big,
overkill,
but you know,
mangoes are soft.
They learn how to do it.
Well,
either way, they gonna kill each other or badly wound each other, and you gonna have to live with it.
I mean, but at least my cousin would have stabbed somebody for a good cause this time, and just because other than just because he thought somebody was cheating on him. He thought she was cheating on him, so he stabbed her 3 times in the gut.
So you think if this Jamaican dude that's got his eyes on you gets stabbed and survives by your cousin, you don't think his cousin's coming? And you know what? That's a whole group of machetes. A whole gaggle of machetes. Do you want that?
Maybe he would just move away. Go to another complex.
If he would just move away, he would just not communicate with you after you indicated you weren't interested.
Oh, geez.
He's either persistent irrationally or crazy. Okay,
I'm
you don't get away from that.
Crazy. The next one. Everybody has that relative that everyone knows not to stay over their house, and they have a picture of R. Kelly for this one, which is fucking hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Do I have any like uncles that everybody don't let them go over to so and so house? I don't think we had nobody like that. I mean, my dad and his brothers drank, so like my mom wouldn't let us go, not because they were like creepy, but just because they were alcoholics and like they weren't gonna watch us for real. I don't think we got no like pedophiles though that I can think of.
Nope.
Think so.
Now, if you had applied this list to me and church members, then I can give you some names. I could drop names quick, but not my family, man. My family is very docile. My mama's side of the family was very not privileged, but they were privileged for black people.
We were not. We
growing
were
up
poor.
because my grandma and my granddaddy were both teachers at a white school during segregation. So when integration started to happen, my aunts and uncles were the first one, and my mama was the first ones to go to the white school. Mm-hmm. And they were relatively popular. Not popular, but they were able to make friends and stuff in that situation. So as black people in that situation with what my grandparents were, they had to maintain a certain status.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't in no environment where, because the thing that make creepy uncles is that they in an environment where they can prey on young people.
Yeah.
It wasn't no environment like that. And it was a environment where they always had meetings. My granddad and grandma always had to be somewhere where my aunts and uncles had to be there with them. And it wasn't a situation where you can really be a wild card or you can develop the kind of ideals that's going to make you that way. And so if you would say snooty or, however black people would classify them being
bougie.
In that position. Yeah, bougie. That's what that was. Now, my mama and my aunt Lydia were like the rebels of the family. So Aunt Lydia disappeared and moved out somewhere. My mama went and married a drug dealer. And my daddy's side of the family, once my daddy got locked up, we never connected with that side of the family, except my grandma. I mean, I have a drunk uncle that used to always come down over there drunk and promise us $1. We never saw. And when he died, all I could think of was we never got them dollars. But I'm just not like, and that's what I was saying earlier, I'm just not that connected to my family. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
My dad's side of the family I'm not really connected to, and my mom's side is like a very select few members. Like her immediate family, like her sisters, her brothers, my grandparents when they were alive, and my cousins, my first cousins, we like all hang out and stuff together. But like the extended family, not really. I've never been to a family reunion. Didn't go to the family reunions on my dad's side because they all alcoholics and I ain't had time for that shit. And then my mom is from Cleveland, Ohio. So most of her reunions have been in Ohio. I think they've had a few here, but it's usually in Cleveland, and we never went. I think she's gone before, but we ain't never went. But those were all the different people. So I had some of everybody except for the creepy uncle. I did not have a creepy uncle, and I don't have a cousin that like I found attractive. So yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the questions. If you have a question you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it in to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartist@gmail.com. First thing that I have, I still am sometimes if I'm in the mood, cartoon watcher. And one of the cartoons that I used to love to watch was Powerpuff Girls, just because I think I liked that Buttercup was an asshole and was mean. And she just spoke to my spirit. She just did. And so now Cartoon Network has announced that they're adding a fourth Powerpuff Girl, and it has come out that the fourth Powerpuff Girl is going to be black.
AKA colored.
She has blue hair. They haven't released her name yet or her origin or why Dr. Plutonium decided to... Was it his name, Plutonium?
Don't know.
Can't remember the doctor's name, but...
I don't think so, though.
Where did I get Dr. Plutonium from? That's from something. Anyhow, her origin story is not yet known, but I'm just excited to see that there's going to be a brown character. Now, I just hope you got Blossom, you got Buttercup, and you have Bubbles. So it's gonna have to start with a B to fit in, and it don't need to be nothing like she don't need a black name. Like, they don't need to do that. They need to stick with like the really fluffy names like Blossom, Buttercup, or Bubbles. It needs to be like something like that.
Utonium.
Okay, I was close.
Close.
Okay.
Yeah. But those are two different.
Oh, nigga, I was
those
close.
Those are two different elements. Yeah, they probably way different than each other. If utonium is even an element, don't sound like it.
Cause I think he's called that because he like discovered it, I think, and then that's how he made them. I don't know. Anyway, her origin story is not known, but they are gonna make a black Powerpuff Girl, which, I mean, as I think back, honestly, like most of the cartoons when I was a kid, they were like animals. They didn't really have like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have like races. Like, I watched Gummy Bears. There's just a bunch of bears. They had variant skin. You know. Oh yeah, Doug had a black friend though.
Skeeter Valentine was a genius.
Yep.
Used to do that.
Oh, like the Smurfs were not like, they didn't have a race. Well, they were Smurfs. I didn't watch Care Bears, but Care Bears didn't really.
Care Bear style.
I could not stand that shit. It was so stupid.
So
DuckTales, they were just ducks.
DuckTales, woo!
Tailspin, Rescue Rangers. Like, most of the cartoons I watched as a kid was animals, not like people. So I don't know.
We got Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
That's what I said.
So we need a B name,
but not a black B name. That's what I'm saying.
Beyonce.
No, it needs to fit with the fluff of that. Blossom, Buttercup, Bubbles. Those are very like, just like cutesy names. So it needs to be another cutesy name. It doesn't need to be. That is not cutesy, sir. That is not cutesy. And I don't even know what's another B word that's like Blossom, Buttercup, Bubbles.
But those are all white names, though.
Are they white?
Blossom, the whitest name ever, was a show about a white girl named Blossom.
Buttercup. Always, again, like, she wasn't white to me. She had too much attitude.
So she was Italian.
She was like Italian to me. And then Bubbles was white. She had the blonde hair. But Bubbles and Buttercup, I don't know, are like white names.
What is even a buttercup? Like a cup of butter?
Is it a flower?
Is a buttercup a flower?
I don't know. It's something. I think it might be a flower. Maybe. Or maybe I made that fucking up. I don't know.
Buttercup
it's a
flower.
plant. Yeah.
It is
with
a plant.
Bright yellow cup-shaped flowers. So, yeah.
So what would a black Powerpuff Girl be named?
It has to start with a B.
Blase.
No, that's a black name. That's somebody who don't know what blase means.
But why can't the black Powerpuff Girl have a black name?
Because I don't feel like she needs to have a black name.
Why not?
Because ain't none of the rest of them really got like.
Then why does she need to have black skin?
Because we need representation.
Then why do we have to be represented by skin but not by name?
Because some of these names are fucking ridiculous, like Blase. I don't want a Powerpuff Girl named Blase. But I'm sure it's a child running around out here named that. Because her parents didn't know what the fuck Blase meant. And named that child that anyway.
Then what it is up to you, if you were naming this Powerpuff Girl, is to find one that's not so black, but absolutely not super white.
Yeah, but their names are like flowers or parts of flowers or like things kids like bubbles. So it would have to be something along that vein for her to fit in and not be separated from the three that were already there. If they're going to try to make this like cohesive and they're supposed to be this group of crime fighters, she needs to fit in. Blase don't fit in with that. I don't know. I can't think of any cutesy names that start with a B.
Bondage.
Nigga, what? That's some S&M type shit. She gonna have on some latex suit and have a whip.
I be working on such an advanced vocabulary many times that I can't think of
Like simple
as words that begin with B.
Are there any other plants that start with a B? I didn't even know, but I was guessing in the dark about buttercup, but I thought I had heard that it was a plant. All I could think of was like rose, which does not go. Daffodil. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I wonder if they're going to even name her something with a B.
They might not, but they could, like, I don't know. She got blue hair. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
They can name her Blue Ivy.
Nigga, no.
Why not?
What you mean, why not? We don't need no Blue Ivy.
I know why, because they done trademarked that name anyway, yes, so they have to pay. They have to pay to use Beyonce baby
Her
name.
hair is blue, so, like, I don't know if there's blue flowers that also start with a B. I don't even know. I know there are blue flowers, but I just can't think of
Her name could be Butterfly.
It could be.
But it's already named with butter in it, so that'll be redundant.
I don't know what her name is going to be. I'm glad they're going to do that because, like, I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know. Well, what is Doc McStuffins? Is she black?
I don't know.
Do you know who Doc McStuffins is?
Yep, I do.
I think she's supposed to be black, isn't she?
I don't know.
Don't make me lie. I don't know nothing about this kid shit. I really
I'm trying to figure out why she's a child doctor.
Dookie Howser was a child doctor.
He was a teenage doctor.
Still, he was a kid. Wait, does she? Don't she work on her animals? Ain't like she working on other people. I think she works on her. Don't make me lie.
I don't know. I don't know much about it.
I don't watch Doc McStuffins. Let me see.
Did X-Men have any black people on it?
Storm.
Oh, Rugrats had Susie.
Oh yeah, Angelica friend.
Friend. When she first came out, Angelica was at odds because Angelica was treating the kids like shit, and Susie came out like, quit treating these kids like shit. You know, like sassy black woman would do it.
Yeah, Doc McStuffins work on her toys. She don't work on people.
I don't think Dexter's Lab had any black people, but it did have a monkey.
Nigga. No. I used to love Dexter's Laboratory. Johnny Bravo. Did he ever like hit on black women? Or was it just white women in the show? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
I mean, his personality was based off of Elvis, so I can imagine.
Well, the question you have to ask is if there were any black women in the show. If there were, then he definitely hit on them. Because he hit on all the women in the show.
I can't remember. I don't know.
Beavis and Butthead.
Did they have black folks?
No.
Daria had black too, and they were like woke black people who realized that they were like tokens.
Yeah.
And they were really intelligent. I love Daria.
Bobby's World.
What the fuck is Bobby's World?
You don't remember Bobby's World? It was Howie Mandel's show. Mm-mm. I used to watch it every morning for cartoon. I don't remember anything about it except the mama was from like one of them towns where she like, don't you know? Like talking like that. I don't know where that's from, like up North Dakota type accents. Yo, what's up with animals? Did the Magic School Bus have a black person?
Yeah, it has a black student. Maybe a couple of blacks. Ooh, Captain Planet. Wasn't one of the dudes black? They had a black
Planet
dude.
was all kinds of racist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kwame.
He was the African dude.
Yeah, and then they had like a Indian. Was he? Don't make me.
Mm-hmm.
Was he Indian?
He was Indian.
Okay.
They had a black dude, an Indian dude, a German chick, a regular white dude, and
Wasn't it one more person?
an Asian girl.
Yeah.
And then a motherfucker with a green mullet. A blue motherfucker with a green mullet come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
A mullet.
Yeah. I would have been
Business
mad.
in the front, party in the back.
I would have been mad if I had been the one that got the power of heart. Like, everybody else got this cool shit, and then here I come, heart. Like, what the fuck?
He could control animals.
I don't give a shit. I would have rather had the control of water or earth.
You have two dogs. If you could choose heart, you would choose that shit. If you could control your dog.
Oh, God, yeah.
And communicate with them through that heart ring, you would choose that shit.
Yeah, you're right.
Like anybody today with pets would choose heart. What you gonna do with them other ones? You ain't no hero.
You're right. I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? the best you could do with one
Well,
of them.
they want. Hey, guess what? They want. The song is Captain Planet. He's our hero. He wouldn't even came if it wasn't for them fucking kids, though. What was he doing? Like, he was just waiting for them to call. He didn't see this shit going on till they put the rings together. He was just somewhere sitting in his, like, fortress of solitude, just fucking chilling, waiting on the Captain Planet signal.
Dyeing his hair and getting a fucking weird-ass haircut.
Ghost Rider had a bunch of different nationalities. You had the black kid and his mom, his grandma? It was his grandma.
I don't remember Ghost Rider.
You don't remember?
I remember Ghost Rider. I don't remember the cast.
Word. Makeup. Yeah, there was like a Hispanic girl, and there was a white girl. And I mean, they changed up characters as it went on, but they had different nationalities represented on Ghost Rider. But most of the stuff that I watched as a kid was animals. It wasn't like,
yeah,
you know, as we got older and like Nickelodeon and shit became like huge, they had more shows with people. But prior to that, like most of the stuff that I like, DuckTales, Tailspin, those things, they were all animals. Like, what was it? Was it? I think it was Rescue Rangers with that fat cat that wore all that jewelry.
Rescue Rangers.
I think it was.
That's Chip and Dale.
Was it Chip and Dale with the fat cat?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Like, most of them were animals up until like when Nickelodeon came, they had a lot more shows with people. Mm-hmm. But before it was just animals. So I'm glad Powerpuff Girls has got a little black girl now.
Name Blase.
Her name is not gonna be Blase. They don't need to do that. Her name does not need to be Blase. I'm trying to think of the craziest. People name kids stuff and they don't like bother to look at the meaning of the word. Like you don't want your child to be blase, or you don't want your child to be like a word that has like a negative meaning to it. Like the fuck you, because you thought it sounded good, bitch. No, don't do that. Somebody around here named Blase though. I'm telling you, I know it in my spirit. Tell me. I know that there is a child out here named Blase.
They gonna name her Blissful. I don't want to look up a bunch of B words. Google.
Blissful Blossom Buttercup Bubbles. I don't know if that has I don't know. I wonder if they're gonna introduce any new villains, because like the villains on there, you had the monkey. What was his name? Mojo Jojo.
You know, my question becomes, what's the point of being included but not really being included?
What you mean?
Like, is there going to be a component of her existence that represents being black outside of that stereotypical shit they always do?
I don't know.
You know, in Hollywood with animation, like, what's the point of just giving somebody brown skin and everybody else white? Or everything else is white? Or even brown skin and a brown name and it doesn't represent a accurate portrayal of how African Americans exist in society? Like, is it supposed to be appeasing to put a brown person right there? I mean, that is progress, but is it progress, or is it just aesthetically making us feel like progress is happening when it's not really?
I mean, he would have had to, because the Powerpuff Girls were created, he would have had to purposefully make her. Because they're made of sugar and spice and everything nice, and then that utonium element.
That was an accident, right?
Yeah. But so I don't know what her origin story is going to be. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how I don't know if the Powerpuff Girls are going to decide they want a sister and make her. They haven't released her origin story, so I don't know if her origin story is going to include her being a person of color or not. I don't know.
Drop the watermelon in that bitch.
Nigga, that would be racist as fuck. Now, I hope that is not the case.
A couple of grape sodas.
Oh my God.
Drop them in there.
That would be real racist as fuck. Let's hope that ain't what happened. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention that because, like I said, when I was growing up, we weren't nobody really was represented as far as cartoons were concerned in the ones that I watched, because it was all animals and shit. And then by the time like Nickelodeon, we didn't have satellite for the longest, so like I missed the wave of like really getting hype about like Doug and stuff, like because we didn't have it, so I didn't get to watch it. I watched Doug like later after nobody gave a shit anymore. So like for me, my childhood nostalgia is like Chip and Dale and Tailspin and those things with the animals.
I used to love Doug, but I tell you right now, Doug is the boringest shit to watch today. as a grown man.
Doug is boring. His character was just boring.
It's a boring ass character with a boring ass show.
Boring life.
And everybody else was colored.
Patty
Like he was a minority.
He was, because everybody else was weird. Cause wasn't Patty pink? Patty mayonnaise.
Like Patty and Doug were both on the scale of white.
Yeah.
She was just tan white and he was regular pasty white. You know, everybody else was different colors.
Blue.
Skeeter was blue. Roger was green.
Yeah.
You know, his parents were white though. His sister was a tan. She was tan too.
I don't really remember a lot about Doug. Like I said, I caught it late, and by the time I caught it, I ain't understand why people liked it because I found it boring. So,
yeah.
I guess you had to watch it as a kid to understand, because like, as I wasn't an adult, but I was like an older teenager, I think, and I was just like, I don't get this shit, but okay. I missed a lot of Nickelodeon. So I did get to watch all that though. I liked all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I have for that.
Okay. You seen Get Out, right?
I have seen Get Out. Who's in the? Oh, I thought you were gonna say somebody's in the sunken place.
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't. Did you like Get Out?
Yeah.
It was a pretty good movie.
It was an interesting movie. Interesting concept.
And from that, Jordan Peele was supposed to be, you know, it was reported that he was supposed to be making a series of race-related social thrillers.
Okay.
Him and Spike Lee are teaming up on a movie called Black Klansman.
I saw that, but I don't know what it's supposed to be about. The name was a bit off-putting.
So it's a man named Ron Stallworth. He was a detective. He worked his way up to the Klansman local chapter.
Okay.
Black man. The way that he did this was by having conversations on the phone, and anytime they had meetings, he would send a white representative.
You know this is like that Dave Chappelle skit.
Yeah.
Where the guy was blind and did not know that he... Okay.
Yep. But this is... I mean, it's possible that was based off of this story, because this was in the 1970s. You know, because they were sending... You know, back... The KKK was recruiting, sending out flyers and stuff. You know, but in my head, I wanted Black Klansman to be like a reverse situation where the Klan was black.
Oh, and we was out burning crosses in white folks' yards.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want it to be that way. I don't want the inherent idea of black people to be that we would have been the same way that white people have been.
But I don't think we would have. Like, we wouldn't have done the shit that they did. Now, that's not to say... we wouldn't have done it in the way that they did it. Let me say that. Like, I don't feel like if we were going to oppress a group, it would be in that way.
Well, it's many brown cultures that you go back to were not as aggressive as, like, when you talk about like Christopher Columbus, when you talk about all of these old pioneers,
oh bitch ass,
they like literally slaughtered cultures that were welcoming to them.
Which is what makes it horrible. You welcome somebody in your house and they stab you in the heart. Like, the fuck, I let you in. Like, I invited you in here. This is bullshit.
So I don't really want to see a movie like that anyway.
No,
probably
but like,
won't watch it.
That disappoints me. Like, I thought he was, because I mean, unless there's some kind of psychological aspect to it that is yet to be, like what you just described is not something I would go see.
Yeah.
Or anything I would get excited about.
But immediately I was like, Black Klansman, this is gonna be like Django reverse.
Oh shit, nigga.
But when I started thinking about it more, like I don't think I want to see something like that. But I'm skeptical about Spike Lee's involvement.
Yeah.
This might be Jordan Peele's, I've always wanted to work with Spike Lee's situation.
That's what I was just gonna say. This is probably him fulfilling a dream he always had about working with Spike Lee.
But like, Spike Lee's comments have been up and down as it pertains to the black community.
Yeah.
Especially with the Black Lives Matter stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring that up to say that I would watch that movie. Denzel Washington's son's supposed to be playing in it. John David Washington. I don't know how many kids he got.
Not that lot. I don't know. Don't make me lie.
Cause one of them play football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So New York City is gonna be the largest school district in the U.S. to offer free lunches to all students. I got free lunch when I was in school. I don't know if they still do it based off of like this is saying just all students will get free lunch. I'm sure that people will still send, the ones who can afford it will probably still send their kids to school with a lunch. Mm-hmm. For the ones who can't, and I can't even imagine how much lunch is at a New York school with the cost of living being this high. Shit, probably expensive as fuck. It's probably like a really good meal here in a nice restaurant. But I mean, we were on, we didn't have a lot of money, and I up until probably junior high school got free lunch, and then even after then it was reduced price lunch because like, and my mom, it was 4 of us at any given time. Well, there was 4 of us for a while, and then it was 3. As my brothers got older and graduated and moved out, but like, she would not have been able to do lunch for all 4 of us, like pay for it 5 days a week. So that it was helpful. So like, I think that's good. And I think it's good that it's being offered to all students so that the students who can't afford it aren't maybe singled out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a step. Like, our education sucks ass in America right now, but like, that is, I think that's a step in the right direction.
I was a free lunch recipient during the times that my mom wasn't married. I think the rules where we were living at is that, a single parent household got free lunch if they couldn't afford it, but a dual parent household default got reduced lunch.
I don't think my mama like acknowledged my dad's living there, because at the time, like when my brothers were in school, the whole time they were in school, and up until I was 15, my parents weren't married. And so because they weren't married, I don't think the school knew, and so they were basing it off my mom by herself. And that's how we ended up
finessing the system.
Cause so my dad never counted because they weren't married.
Well, my mom was single most of my childhood, so free lunch, which it sucks paying for something that's horrible.
And that's the thing. I mean, maybe they have nicer lunches now because they have all these healthy initiatives, and maybe they're getting kids like vegetables and fruit and shit. But like, our lunches were terrible. It was that cardboard ass pizza that was like pre-cut into them like square slices.
Rectangles,
flat as shit. Or like, I think when I got to like junior high, they introduced a salad bar, but the shit on the salad bar wasn't all that great.
We would eat upgraded prison food.
Yeah.
A lot of people got mad because of Michelle Obama's initiative for healthier school lunches. And it just seemed like they didn't opt for healthier lunches over just cheaper lunches.
Well, and eating healthy is more expensive. Anybody that never tried to like clean their diet up, you gonna spend more money. It's cheaper to be unhealthy in America.
It's cheaper to keep these calories.
Yeah.
Cheaper to keep them. Women and calories.
Yeah. Pretty much. Oh, cheaper to keep her.
Speaking of cheaper to keep
her. Go on.
Mike Epps, man. This dude is officially divorced.
But it didn't come without a price.
He is going to be paying her $25,000 a month in spousal support.
Damn.
He don't have to keep paying that if she remarries, though.
Why would she remarry?
Exactly. Why?
I ain't got no incentive to remarry. You gonna cut into my money.
He got to pay $15,000 a month for child support, and he got to pay for their private school.
Damn.
She get to keep a 2014 Bentley, 2013 Mercedes, 2015 Toyota Prius, and a 2013 Land Rover.
Why the fuck is this 2 adults in the house? Why do they have 4 cars?
Because
anyway,
they can't have them.
That is stupid. And a Prius is ass. Like, have you ever driven or ridden in a Prius?
Nope.
Like, I don't know about the new ones. I don't know about the new ones. But like the first few Priuses, you know where I live. That hill. I had a friend that had a Prius when I first moved here and moved into the apartment that I'm in now. It took so much for him to get up that hill because yes, it's more fuel efficient, but like you give up some of your power in doing that.
Straight ass.
Yeah, so he would like sputter up the fucking hill because I live on like a pretty steep hill, and his Prius barely made it up there. So she gonna have 4 cars. Well, when the kids get to be older, they'll have a car. I don't know how old his kids are. How many kids do he got? She got $15,000 a month.
I don't know. 2. Say 2 kids.
Damn.
Now he might have more kids than that, but
Well, I mean, as far as the ones he having to pay for right now with her.
2 kids.
It is cheaper to keep them. That's a lot of money. But you know what? No. Combined with the child support and the spousal support, it is. But like I was finna say, shit, Mary J. Blige paying more than that out to Kendu. Ain't she giving him 30 G's?
You think Mike Epps touching Mary J. Blige's bank account? Mike Epps ain't nothing but Day.
Ain't he supposed to be here at the end of the month?
Yes.
Is it him? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I saw that on the sign.
He will be here.
He gotta make this. You gotta make this money. So he can pay this
money. He making all kind of royalties. I'm pretty sure he getting plenty of royalty checks for a lot of this stuff he's done.
I hope he is.
Comedy shows and movies and things like that.
That's $40,000 a month total.
Yeah.
Not including how much private school costs. So just off of the support combined is $40,000 a month. Fuck.
Well, you shouldn't get divorced or you shouldn't get married. One of the two.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say you shouldn't get married, but like, I don't know. Sometimes you can't help the divorce. Now, I don't know what happened with their situation. I don't know if he was fucking around, but like, if your spouse get crazy, you gonna stay with a crazy person so you don't have to pay him?
No.
Okay. You have to leave.
Have a murder.
Nigga.
I won't have you murdered, ladies listening to this who are potentially going to date me in the future. That was just a joke.
Yeah, and that tone of voice you're using to say that it was just a joke is not comforting. I just want you to know.
It's all right.
See?
She's not listening.
Jeez, I'll just have them killed. I mean,
No, I won't have anybody killed, but
you just
I don't have to get married.
I mean, let me tell you this. If you were a millionaire, I feel like you would get a lot of pressure from whoever you went to get married. Like, I know how you feel about marriage, and I know that you'd like, whatever, but like, I feel like somebody that was dating you had money, they're gonna want to get married. Because you don't get no perks. You don't get no perks from being a girlfriend and shit goes south.
And I won't have no problem saying, listen, there's plenty of women who will do this shit on my terms. Just want to let you know. So if you want to keep that shit up, you can go find a nigga that want to get married. I don't care.
So the only way somebody gonna get into your pockets is if they have your kid.
First off, I'm not getting rich.
I mean,
let's just get that on out there, okay? I am going to meet a woman and we are going to invest in a life together because she gonna have mediocre to decent pay, and I'm gonna have mediocre to decent pay, and we're gonna struggle this shit out until we can pay off loans and become financially stable.
But what if you did? What if the podcast blew up and we were like doing shows and shit? And
if I get rich, you know how I'm gonna get rich? Some in Walmart gonna follow on me.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because I'm getting paid.
You
Walmart money, Sam Walton money.
That is terrible.
But if I became wealthy and I didn't have somebody in my life at that time, then I'm not sure if I get married.
But they can still get you for your money, your coins from child support.
Ain't got no kids.
I'm saying if you had a kid with them.
I'm not having no kids with somebody I ain't married to. I'm 32 years old and childless by design.
Yes.
That shit ain't changing. It's possible to have.
No, it is.
I was 16. Almost 20 years worth of sex without getting people pregnant or STDs. I've done it.
It's very true.
I've also sat in a room full of dudes who all had STDs and I didn't. So clearly, I'm doing shit right is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Everybody else is fucking up.
Well, and People have a tendency to do that. Well, Mike Epps better keep working. That's all I know.
And like, if you're married to somebody, you just do right. It's not hard to do right.
It's not, in theory.
I mean, in theory.
I mean, it wouldn't be. See, this is what you always telling me, right? You're taking it for granted how you and I are. For the average person, I don't know. It seems like it's very hard for them to do right.
I think it's easy to do right.
I do too, but not everybody. Obviously, not everybody feel that way, because there's a whole lot of folks out here doing fucked up shit and ending up divorced and paying out all these ducats.
That's because they don't want an easy life. It's easy to do right if you want an easy life.
Well, but I think that people think they're going to be able to get away with shit. I don't think they go into it like, I'm going to make my life hard as shit, as hard as possible. I think they can do what they want, and they're not going to have consequences. Not realizing that everything comes with a consequence. Everything in life that you do. You have to be willing to live with them consequences.
You do. Including the consequence of choosing somebody that will fuck you out of your money.
Yup.
You did that to yourself, Mary J. and Mike Epps. You are a victim of your own decisions. I'm sorry. That's how it is.
Yeah, make better decisions, people. So, in, token news, we'll call it that. Omarosa is on the no-fly list, so that she can't just pop up on Donald Trump, apparently.
The White House no-fly list.
The White House no-fly list, yeah. So, according to Fox News, the no-fly list is a list compiled of all the White House aides he feels are unimportant to attend the real serious meetings. He doesn't want her in the meetings.
The reason that Omarosa has become a problem is because she is the one who has consistently brought negative news to Trump in the mornings that messes up his day. And John Kelly has figured out that when he's had a really bad day and been on a fake news kick, it's been from information that he done bought her. And so he, from when he joined, has been trying to limit her ability to communicate with Donald Trump.
Like, do you know how much of a toddler he is? Like, that sounds like something somebody would do for their toddler. Like, no, because every time you come over, you get him all hyped up, and then it take us forever to get him to settle back down. Like, that sounds like something you would say about a child. So he can't take getting, like, upsetting news and, like, function like a normal fucking person. It like fucks up all his shit, and so then he runs around screaming about fake news and doing all of this bullshit in reaction to something that somebody's like. That is very toddler like. This is not a grown man.
I mean, there is something that you could be told every morning that's gonna fuck your day up.
It ain't gonna make me act like Donald Trump though. There's nothing that somebody can tell
Trump
me.
Act like that before that information. That don't got nothing to do with the information Omarosa be giving him.
Obviously, John Kelly feels like it does.
No, what I'm saying is, him being told that information ain't why he act like a toddler. He act like a toddler because he is a toddler. That news coming to him just strikes a fucking episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect much out of Donald Trump. All right?
No.
A lot of people expect a lot out of him and validate things he's saying because he's the president.
That is bullshit.
They kind of like him being a president overrode who he has been for the whole time to a lot of people.
That's crazy.
I don't expect that much out of Donald Trump.
No.
I expect Donald Trump to do what he think people gonna like him for. And you know what? That's what this stupid debt ceiling deal was. You know anything about that?
Mm-mm.
Donald Trump basically, with the Democrats, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, basically said, hey, we want the debt ceiling to be revoted on in the next 3 months. And we're willing to tie this Harvey aid to it. And the Republicans are mad because, they tie in a natural disaster to political shit, which is what every politician does all the time anyway.
Yeah.
They just get on a stand and act like they don't do the shit they always do.
Yeah.
And he basically said, okay, that's cool. I made a deal with somebody. I made a deal with the Democrats. And the Republicans are mad. He snubbed his party. But he been talking shit about his party the whole time.
I know. Why are they surprised?
And not only that, but people they talking positive about Donald Trump because he ain't a traditional Republican. So this is a different move. I'm interested to see what comes from this, because what it looks like is giving the Democrats a lot of leverage. But what it looks like is that he's trying something different. He ain't just going for what his base want, and he ain't trying to appease the politicians.
But like him acting of his own accord is kind of terrifying. Because I don't know what if it comes from him, if it's not something from his base, it's not something from his party. I don't know what something that's just solely from him.
I think it just might be a move of leverage to let the Republicans know that they need to really get in line with what he's trying to get them to do. And with DACA going on, he really wants them to pass some DACA legislation. He just don't want it to be on him if it don't happen. But he will take credit for it if it happens on his watch. Like, he is being really strategic in how he is pawning off major responsibilities on the other groups. It just didn't work out for healthcare. He pawned it on to the congressman, and it didn't work.
Ryan, what is it? Ryan Paul?
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
Yeah.
The fuck I missed. Paul Ryan. Yeah. I don't know. So what's that mean for Omarosa now? So like she just can't go nowhere?
Right? She can't fly with Trump. Well, from how you said, she can't attend important meetings, but she definitely ain't finna be put on no airplane with Trump with no supervision. She being babysat, basically.
Stupid. Oh, well. I mean, I don't feel bad for her.
The only reason that she is up there is because she was on the episodes of The Fucking Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
And she's as aggressive, the most aggressive thing that Donald Trump has ever seen, and she black.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, he using her as a pawn.
Yeah.
For the black community. Yep. And he don't even know that the black community don't fuck with Omarosa.
We ain't fuck with Omarosa in a long time. Long before.
We ever have. When have we?
Yeah, that's
she
true.
Been cutthroat the whole time. She ain't represented black interest. She represented her own interest, and that's what she's doing now.
Yeah.
She's representing her own interest through the lens of the black liaison in the White House right now. That's not...
You pick somebody that ain't no black person gonna fuck with, for real.
He picked the wrong person.
Very much so.
But he picked somebody that's loyal to him. That's all that's important to him.
Do you think she gonna keep her job? Cause it's cutthroat and is stubborn as she is. It ain't even
a real job.
Well, I bet I'm.
Yeah, she gonna keep it. She ain't gonna do nothing with her. She's just somebody else he can talk to.
But he can't. I mean, she can't talk to him now. Like if Kelly is gonna keep her away from him because of the stuff that she says, like, is she even gonna keep her job? Like, they've been firing folks left and right for less shit.
If he was gonna fire her, he would have fired her. He wouldn't block communications and then put her on a no-fly list. He would have fired her.
Well, but I feel like she's not going. I feel like Omarosa wouldn't be like Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer basically got fired and he ain't say shit about it. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of I feel like Omarosa would not be that way.
I feel like the issue is that the chief of staff is responsible for all the staff. He is right under the president. Mm-hmm. I feel like Reince Priebus was not somebody before John Kelly came in that could keep the staff under control. And so you got Omarosa running into the president's office this morning, and you got Sean Spicer running to the president and getting, misinformation. And you got everybody who wanted to talk to the president talking to the president. You got Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner just walking into the White House. The chief of staff said, y'all are all under me. So I think what's happening now is how it's supposed to be. I think it just hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
I think John Kelly is just having a time ringing in who is an asset to the presidential office and who is a liability to the presidential office. And I think he's acting upon that right now. And he actually have the clout and the means to do that. And I think Trump is giving him the means to do that.
Yeah.
If Trump wanted to talk to Omarosa and wanted to fly with Omarosa, John Kelly couldn't stop him. But that means he's letting John Kelly make those mood determinations and they're actually carrying them out.
Yeah.
So for Omarosa, she's not going to lose her job because Donald Trump and John Kelly do need to talk to her when they need a consult for the black community. Not because she's actually one, but because they believe she is one.
Okay.
And so she's going to stick around. or they're gonna have to find somebody else to do it. And can you think of a black person that would be good for that position right now?
Shit, she ain't good for it. I don't know
Well, do you think one that could? Can you even think of one that would be good?
No, because I can't think of one that would voluntarily do it. That the black people actually would fuck with.
Probably get Sheriff David Clark. Probably.
Who?
Sheriff David Clark. I think that's his first name.
Oh,
that sheriff that was finna be on over one of them, the Homeland Security Department, but like they'll get somebody who caters to the white side of blackness, if that makes sense. They gonna get somebody who don't they gonna get a black person that cater to white interests, not to black interests, but they use their blackness to talk to black people about why they should adhere to white interests. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Republican interests, or however you want to identify, right interests, whatever.
All right, well, that's all I had for that, and that was my last story actually.
So, Hurricane Irma is a situation right now.
Hurricane Irma is a bitch.
Yeah.
That bitch just twirling.
And we in Alabama, so it's gonna come this way to a degree. But damn, this has really, what is the world coming to? Because climate change, okay?
Well, that's not a real thing.
We got Rush Limbaugh out here saying that Hurricane Irma is a part of a liberal agenda for climate change. But I bet he got his ass out of Florida. He did. You know.
How is it part of did they create the hurricane? What the fuck does that even mean?
I guess that's what it have to mean.
How do you create a hurricane? Like, okay, first of all, I don't know how you could not believe in climate change when you had Houston just happen, and before like any real repair efforts could be made, fucking Irma is finna come twirling through Florida, and then you got Jose right the fuck after Irma. Like, I don't know how you cannot believe in it. It's Alabama in September. It's nice as fuck outside. Our summer lasts. I do a Halloween cruise every Halloween, which is usually around the end of November. I mean, end of October. And there have been times where like we were dying on the water because it was hot as fuck. Or like I would wear a costume trying to stay warm because we're gonna be out on the water, and it's still hot as fuck. Like, it's cool. It's nice outside. That's not how our September's usually are. Like, I don't know how you can see all of this shit go on and just be like, that ain't no climate shit. Like, what? Okay. I want to know how he think they created Irma.
I don't know. It's just a horrific storm, and the fact that these storms get worse and worse and worse every year, it means something.
Yep.
Now, what it means, we don't know, but
well, religious people would say Jesus is about to come back.
Another conspiracy part of it, y'all better get right with God.
Yep. Oh, these hurricanes coming through. I thought he was supposed to destroy the world with fire, not water. Right? He said he wasn't going to flood it no more after that shit with Noah.
I don't know. I guess it depends on what the hurricanes do. Maybe the hurricane going to spark the world on fire somehow. I don't know. But I don't believe that anyway. I feel like a flood happened in one geographical location where the ark was built, and you just don't know where else it spread to. It couldn't have been flooded everywhere.
Well, that's the story, is that it was everywhere. The whole world got flooded. And only him and his family and 2 of every animal survived.
Well,
there's a lot of incest in the Bible.
Implied
incest, yes.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Because if the world started with Adam and Eve, and they were the only 2 that was making people, then it's like a lot of incest.
I'm not trying to make sense of the Bible. Just don't. There's a lot of question marks in there.
Well, hopefully anybody that lives in Florida that listens to the show, hopefully you ain't listening to it from fucking Florida. Hopefully you got out of there. Or depending on where you live in Florida, I guess.
That ain't necessarily always possible.
Yeah.
I called my granddaddy in Jacksonville, and he said that they didn't give an evacuation order, but so many people got on the roads that you can't even move now.
Have you seen have you seen like the overhead traffic view of? It's crazy. Like,
I haven't seen it, but
they're barely moving. Like, ain't no telling how long it's taking them to get out of Florida right now.
That was the criticism in Texas.
Yeah, everybody was like, why he didn't? Because it's 4.2 million people in Texas and Houston, and because there's no way that 4.2 million people would have been able to leave their homes at the same fucking time. They'd all been on the road when the shit rolled in, and a lot more people would have died.
Yeah,
cars don't float.
And there's a lot of people didn't think about stuff like that when it come to them criticisms. Like, at least you'd be able to get the higher ground at your house.
Yeah.
So the information they were giving you in that cases was, don't go into the attic without something that'll be able to tear your roof down so you can get out.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people died in their attics because they had no tools to get out of their house
and the road,
once it got that high.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, everybody wanted to get onto that governor, but it's like, what y'all? I mean, it's too many. Like, a city that size, evacuation is not possible unless they like knew where. Even I don't even know how far ahead of time you would need to know that this shit is coming and how bad it's gonna be to try to evacuate a city the size of Houston. Houston is huge. That is a big ass city, and you're not gonna be able to get all them people on the road at the same time and it goes smooth. Shit, look how traffic is on like a regular day when motherfuckers ain't in panic. You imagine? All the accidents that happen when motherfuckers aren't panicked.
So I think he said they was gonna go to a shelter, and if they opened up, and otherwise just have to see what happened.
Hopefully all them people that's on the road, I don't even know what you would do if like get off at the closest. I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Like, if you see some of the overhead pictures like of the traffic, it's fucking crazy. Like, they're barely moving. They're just chilling in traffic on the road.
Like, I don't want to live anywhere along no coast. I don't want to live anywhere where flooding is potential. I don't want to live anywhere like that.
People want that beach life.
Pass. The last thing I got is Betsy DeVos, who is trying to loosen up some of the college restrictions on sexual assault reporting. And this just goes into looking at how many Obama-era changes that these administrations are willing to make.
They're just trying to roll back everything.
Because what was happening with sexual abuse on college campuses is that the colleges was trying to handle them, and they were silencing them. They were putting them, like, they were sweeping them under a rug. And so President Obama came out to make colleges more accountable for those things. Now, what that means is that sexual assault, when it was reported, people were given consequences with no due process in a lot of them instances, you know, or at least it was limited due process because the college campuses were dealing with it. And she want to roll back those regulations. It just seemed like it'll take it back to the time where they were sweeping stuff under the rug because they no longer accountable.
Because she's not replacing. They love wanting to roll shit back and not replace it with something. Like, if you feel like the what's in place is broken, you don't just take the broken thing away and don't put nothing else there. That's not gonna fix it. The problem that existed, that was the reason why that legislation was created in the first place, still exists. You're just taking away the legislation but not addressing that problem, which is stupid. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. But you know, she fucked up education in her home state.
Bitch ass motherfucker.
So Betsy. I don't know why people think she's gonna be able to fix education anywhere else.
Fuck that bitch.
She don't have much experience. All she is just a wealthy Republican.
Yep. Who has a position that she's not qualified for.
Yeah.
That has a position that she doesn't even understand.
So.
Ain't gonna fuck up a lot of stuff for American students when it's already, the education system is already shit anyway.
Yep.
Like, it didn't need no more fucking up. Like, it was fucked up enough without Betsy, old cow ass. Every time I hear Betsy, I just think of cows.
I guess I do too. Bessie. I'm thinking Bessie is like a cow's name, a popular cow name or something.
Is it Bessie or Betsy? I think Betsy is a popular cow name.
I don't know.
Bessie is like somebody's grandma.
Bessie
is somebody's black grandma.
Bessie cow.
Grandma Betsy in there. Is it Betsy? I think it's Betsy is the cow.
It's Bessie.
B-E-T or B-E-S?
S.
Bessie? Man, I thought it was Betsy. Betsy still make me think of cows. Either way.
They say Bessie, better known as Hell Cow,
God damn.
is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics.
The fuck is Hell Cow?
The character of Vampire Cow was created by writer
Get the
Steve
fuck out. A vampire cow. Cows don't even eat, like, they eat grass. That's all wrong.
Vampires. What?
Cows eat grass. They don't even eat, like, meat and blood. And a vampire cow is weird. Any vampire herbivore would be weird. An omnivore would make sense, but not a herbivore.
Well, vampires don't eat flesh.
They drink blood, though.
Well,
That is not that don't fall in line with no herbivore. Herbivores eat plant based. Blood is not plant based. Plant
blood.
What?
Plant blood.
Plant blood is not a thing. That does not exist.
Whatever.
Fucking vampire cow is weird.
You ever squeeze the juice out of a tomato?
That is not blood, sir.
What you mean? It's the life force of a tomato.
The juice is not the life force of the tomato.
Killing tomatoes from my space?
No, because that also don't make sense to me. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I watched the original It yesterday.
Bullshit ass horror movie.
It leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know about the new one. I wanted to see the old one because I was aware that it was about a clown just because pop culture, but I had never actually seen the movie. First of all, that shit is like 3.5 hours long. I fast forwarded through a lot of it, I'm gonna be honest. Shit. Because it was a lot about these kids. It's a clown that only kids can see. The adults can't see him, and he eats children. Every 30 years, he come out, he eat a bunch of kids. And so it's a group of kids who saw him and like, they didn't defeat him. They thought they defeated him. They hurt him. Then they grew up. Well, when they grew up, they forgot all about it. One of them stayed in the town where this had happened at. So like, he was able to hold on to his memories, and kids started missing again, and he realized it was a fucking clown. And so he called all the friends back. And
why the fuck would they come back?
Because they all made a promise that if the clown wasn't dead, they were going to all come back and kill it. That's why.
Bitch, I ain't leaving my family for no bullshit.
And they all, like, one of them had become, like, a successful actor. He, like, walked off set. Like, they all left whatever. They had all made, like, pretty good, they all were pretty, made lives for themselves. Walked away from their lives to come back to fight this fucking clown that they're not even supposed to be able to see because they're now adult. But I guess because they saw him at some point, most adults never see the clown. They remember. I don't know. It wasn't
a remake or a continuation?
I think it's just a remake of the original. So it's gonna be that same thing where it's a clown that only kids can see and he eats children. It floats. They all float down here.
That shit's so stupid.
Yeah, it is. But
how did he eat him? Did he like barbecue sauce?
He just eat him. Like, so he looked like a regular clown, and then he got teeth that turn like razor sharp, and he just eat the kids. Well, not eat them completely because they find the bodies, so they know something's killing. So he just eat the meat off the bone. Not the whole. One boy, he like ripped his arm off and ate it, and I don't know. It's weird. It's not scary because, like, it was made in the 90s, and so 90s scary movies, the graphics are fucking terrible, and it's just kind of like, it wasn't no part of that movie that I was like, whoo! Like, nothing made me jump, but, like, the concept is just weird. Like, there's no explanation. You don't get an origin story on this fucking clown. He just this entity who, named Pennywise, who it's kind of like, it gave me some Freddy Krueger vibes too, only because he would kind of harass them before he ate them. Like, he would appear, and like I said, he would do shit that the kids could see, but then when the adults come in the room and they're like, the fuck is wrong with you? The kid would see blood all over the parent's face. The parent has no idea that it's there. It's just, I don't know. It was a weird movie. I don't know. But I think the new It is supposed to just be a remake of the old. It's not. It can't. They killed him, so it can't be a continuation. They killed him in the end. Spoiler for anybody that ain't seen it. So it has to be a remake, not a continuation. Unless it's since they ain't getting no origin story. I guess it could be a continuation because maybe it's a bunch of little fucking demons out there that take the form of a clown and kill children. I don't know. Or maybe it was just in that one town. He didn't get an origin story. So I don't know where he came from, what he actually was, or why he survived off of children.
He probably the reason why a whole bunch of people don't like no damn clowns.
Yeah, that nigga is creepy now. He a creepy looking little clown. But you know, I know you don't watch American Horror Story. I do. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because it started coming on last week, the first episode. It's going to have clowns in it. So anybody that don't like clowns, don't watch American Horror Story this season because it seems like they're basing it off of the election, which is really funny. Like all of this is supposed to be a reaction of Trump winning.
Damn.
So that's kind of funny. I'm gonna keep. The first episode didn't really pull me in. I don't really give a fuck about clowns one way or another. But I'm gonna give it another couple of episodes before I say fuck it and not watch it. Like, it's weird. It's weird. But if you're afraid of clowns, don't watch American Horror Story this season. Or unless you just really want a good scare. I mean, it's up to you, I suppose. But there are clowns. So, a lot of clowns.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. You got anything else on your mind?
No.
All right.
Nothing about the dogs. I'm surprised. They were behaved this week.
All right. Well, until we come to the next conversation.
We out.
Holla.